Let's move on to the lab number 7, data auditing. That is one of the key thing with Microsoft Dynamic. They brought in to see who changed something on some fields, but you are required to make sure that your auditing is turned on the system wide, and then you can set up actually on the each individual level. So in this exercise, we will be making changes to the default solution that may not always be practical in your environment. So the area and the ease of use to convey the concept of data auditing. So we want to make sure your organization has auditing turned on by going into this system setting dialog box. So when we go to the settings and when we have the auditing and global audit settings, we want to make sure by default, actually, if you notice what happened, it's not turned on. So basically what you do, if it's not, you click on start and common entities, marketing, customer, any entities. So basically we have some common entities, which are, one of them was our compliance entity we created. So at this point our focus is on the compliance entities. So we turn on the system-wide auditing, and oh sorry, I click on the cancel. So basically starting common entities, that should be good. Now we then go to the settings and we go to the customization, and then we're gonna select the customize the system, and here actually we are going to look for these are the default solutions, by the way, entities we have in the database. So if you want to see the one we created called compliance, where is that? I cannot see it. Let's see over here. So we have compliance right here. It's funny thing, it doesn't show on that one. Okay, so here's the compliance entities. When we created, actually this was off. So when we turn on the auditing on this compliance entity, then what happened is what we just did, actually it's the table level. So this is the actual table created, and now on the table we have fields. So these are the fields, and if you remember these two fields, let me expand this one a little bit. Yes, my mouse is a little funny, so as long as I can grab it. So you see these two columns, gender and the, I think we call compliance name right here, compliance name. So you see right now both are enabled. So if I actually double click on this one, and you need to make sure that the auditing is enabled in this one. You also need to make sure the on the compliance name, that's other column we created, and the auditing is enabled on this one. So once these are enabled, that means on these two we can do the auditing. Now we can close these changes, since we know that the auditing status is enabled. Some of them actually, you know, notice not applicable, those are system defined fields. So also just want to remind you, when we created the entity called compliance, we created only these two columns by yourself. Everything else was system generated, so we have no control on it. So those are default values set up over here. Customizable true, so you can further customize and do whatever you want. That basically means if you don't like the length, or you want to change from text to numeric and things like that, or different type of dates, you can do that. Now let's put in a test actually in this one. So what we do actually, we go home and we double click on compliance, no record. We create a new record. Notice this is the two columns we created. We had a drop down value gender, and we had a name by default. This is not one we created, that's a system created. So we can call it our first compliance data row. And then we have a compliance name is trading policy. Again, this is something system generated. We go into much more detail in the customization course, and this was actually on the form. When you look at the form, we had the general area where you basically put these things, and then you have a note area by default they give to you. You can get rid of that. You can put as many other columns you want in here, and then you are good to go. So now let's save and close this one, and look at the auditing. So go back to the home. We are on the compliance, and we are in the compliance. We close this activity, so let me find out where the auditing goes. So here we go. So we are on the auditing. Oh no, actually we need to look at the history of the auditing. So we are in the compliance, and we are going to look at the audit history, and on that row. And then you can notice actually this is right now is like 4:20, and at 8:13 4:19 p.m. Zafar Mir created compliance name called trading policy. Gender is co-ed. Name was out of first compliance. Data row, status active, and this is how we actually were able to see what happened to this, and this audit log actually gives you information. So I hope this is beneficial to you. So this was how to turn on auditing on field level, and also you make sure you have a system level setup. So when you go to the setting, global setting, that basically means that the entire system has the auditing turned on, and which widget actually over here, sales entities or marketing. So basically when I click on this sale, all of these leads are sale entities, so you turn on the setting on sales entities that affects on all of those. And then once you set up on the system level, then basically you move on to the customization. And when you look at the customize the system, and when you look on all the entities, and then when you look on the compliance entity, and then you set up actually on the table level, which is the full entity level auditing. And once you have auditing on the entity level, then actually you go to the field level, and you pick and choose from this entity which field actually we need to set up the auditing. I hope it's beneficial for you. So let's move on to the lab number 8.